Hey, what's up? This is Seven Wild Child for VBlog Nation. We can say what you want, when you want, how you want. Just keep it real. Now, keep it real. Thanks to our good old-fashioned American narcissism, our good old-fashioned American prejudice, tons of ignorance, our usual myopia, and of course, our American way of full-blown cowardice. Americans are actually allowing the Daesh, aka ISIS, and their terror tactics to win by our treatment of the Syrian refugees like they ain't shit, basically. So hey, stay tuned. Let me break it down to exactly what I mean. Today, 23 governors said that they will not allow Syrian refugees into their states. Now, to be clear, this is all just political posturing because this is a federal level issue, and these governors are just trying to throw stones with no hands, just to impress their prejudiced, ignorant, and cowardly constituents. Now, there is a problem here. These governors are making a very clear and concise message to the Syrians, the Middle East, and ISIS. That message is that ISIS is correct. That ISIS is correct about our American hatred and prejudice towards all Muslims. The message that these governors are sending to the Middle East is that ISIS is correct, and that this is not a war on terrorism, but on all the Muslims. The message that these idiotic, cowardly governors are sending to the Middle East is that ISIS is correct, that this is not a war against terrorism, that this is a war between Christianity and Islam. Especially since the majority of the states refusing the admissions of Syrian refugees just happen to be from the Bible Belt of the United States. Let me ask you something. Do you even know why ISIS attacked Paris? Because that's probably where we should start. See, do you know that they are rationalizing the murderous butchering of all those Parisians because it was to stop the flow of refugees leaving Syria? ISIS has declared that Syrian refugees are traitors to the new caliphate government, and they need these refugees to stay right the hell where they are. And here's the three main reasons why. Well, number one, they need the Syrians to stay where they are because they need them as human body shields to thwart off an all-out attack on them. Number two, you cannot be a real government if you don't have people to govern. You need bodies to govern to be considered the government. And number three, and this is probably the most important reason, conscription. Meaning ISIS has began a drafting service of young men and children as young as 10 years old to be soldiers and suicide bombers. So let's put this in a proper perspective then. The Daesh, aka ISIS, have carried out and threatened to carry out even more terrorist attacks against nations that allow Syrian refugees a safe haven from the war, because they do not want the refugees to leave because of the reasons I mentioned. Now, France has closed its borders to Syrian refugees, and now Americans, 23 governors, have wanted to do the same thing, therefore allowing the Daesh terrorist attacks to become highly successful. Let me say this one more time. Put to another perspective, put it that way. The ISIS attacked because they wanted us to stop allowing Syrian refugees. France stopped allowing Syrian refugees. The United States, 23 governors, want to stop allowing Syrian refugees. Now, people, I'm no genius, okay? But if the terrorism works, why the hell will they stop doing it? Why should they even bother slowing down the terrorist attacks? See, allowing the Syrian refugees to find a safe haven in the United States isn't just a Christian thing to do. Clearly, because these Christians aren't doing it. Allowing the Syrian refugees to find a safe haven in these United States isn't just a moralistic and humanitarian thing to do. Because, even though we call ourselves Christians, we don't really have much morals and humanitarian things about us. Now, see, these 23 states of myopic, pure prejudice, and blatant cowardice, allowing the Syrian refugees a safe haven in these United States is the smartest counterterrorism tactic that we can do to protect ourselves in the long term. That's the thing. These 23 states aren't getting it. Allowing the Syrian refugees a safe haven in the United States is the smartest counter-terrorism tactic you can do. We're taking people from Syria, away from ISIS, away from the murders, away from the killings, away from being body bags, away from being body shields, away from being drafted into the army. That's the way you defeat them. You cannot be a country if you don't have people. You cannot create an army if you don't have soldiers. Now, tucking your tails like a bunch of cowards and attempting to run away from our problems has never been an effective tool against any oppressor since the beginning of time. Yet that's exactly what these 23 states within this country are trying to do. The fact that these 23 states are almost all considered powder puff soft targets reveals just the depths of their pathologically entrenched cowardice. By the way, and I read some compromises, that the Republicans are exploring, and they're exploring the possibility of only allowing the Christian Syrian refugees into our country. Now, I cannot begin to explain just how counterproductive and frankly how fucking idiotic that is. Because again, you are sending the message that this is a Christian versus Islamic war. And I do believe with a lot of us in this country it is. But you need to keep that shit to yourselves. Because the more you keep saying that out publicly, the more you allow us to become exploited for terrorism. Running like a bunch of cowards is not the answer. Facing our fears and suppressing our prejudices against the Muslims is the only solution. You cannot keep allowing ISIS's terroristic tactics to actually win and work. You can't do it. You allow them to bully us. And you cannot stop a bully by running. Grow the fuck up. Grow some fucking balls. Act like, you say these songs about America, the home of the land of the free, the home of the brave. Like, act fucking brave. Face your fears. Stop allowing ISIS to bully us. Cowardice is not the answer. We had to suppress our fears. That is the only logical fucking solution. I cannot make it more simple than this. We can either stop being cowards and open up our arms, open up our hearts, and open up our borders to kids like this today, or send this kid back to Syria and face this kid like this tomorrow.